Oh, what's up, players? So today we're talking about the art of rage baiting. Now, what is rage baiting? Some of y'all might ask. It's basically this younger generation's version of saying instigating. We know what instigating is. If you was in high school in the 2010s, if you was watching RDC, you know what rage baiting is, bruh. And instigating. But there's a slight difference. Basically, you remember instigating, if two niggas was going at it, banging, you get them to like try and fight, oh, you gonna let them talk to you like that? Stuff like that. Oh, I would never let him say that to me. You know how it goes. Now, granted, as an instigator, a pro instigator knows how to do the timing. There's a timing to the instigating. You don't want to instigate at a bad time and put yourself in a terrible position. For instance, if you say, "Hey, I'll never let him say that to me," and then he does indeed say that to you next, that's where it gets a little dangerous. And who knows where that leads to. But yeah, I think a little bit of the difference is rage baiting is literally just trying to get somebody mad. Usually it's one particular person or just a group of people, whereas instigating is kind of like between two people or between like a group of people, some of that instant. For example, the government instigates. They're trying to get everybody mad at each other, this, that, and third. But video games, rage bait. There's a part of a video game where you just can't get through that hoe. Get mad, maybe throw a controller or two, or even like 2K, right? When you brick a green, which I've actually done before for some reason, or 2K just has you do something that they know you weren't trying to do. It goes all over the place. But if you are someone who's looking to become a good rage baiter, it mainly becomes a thing with delivery, right? It's not what is said, and it's never been what is said. It is only who it is said by and how it is said usually. Now what is said is important obviously because that's where that's the visual of it. But prime example, I was decent at rage baiting and I wasn't even trying to rage bait. Like people genuinely used to get mad at the stuff I said just because I said it. Or a certain person would get mad at the stuff I said because I said it. And I'm pretty sure some of y'all probably been in that position too, where you saying something and another person saying something is two completely different things. And it's usually because that person just doesn't like you. And if you're willing to lose your mind because someone says something that you didn't like, but you didn't like them, so you just didn't like the fact that they said it, but you're cool with other people saying stuff like that, that's insane. Fix yourself. Like, I could think of a lot of pro athletes who are this type of rage baiter, to where they say something that isn't even crazy, but just because it was them that said it, people got upset about it. Whether it was Colby Covington during a press conference, whether it was Conor McGregor, whether it's LeBron James saying something about a stat that MJ fans just get mad at for some reason, whether it's Tom Brady about a stat that people just get upset at, for some reason. Heck, I remember one time watching First Take, LeVar Ball literally got a bunch of hate because he told Molly after she said, "Hey, LeVar, let's switch gears for a second." And he said, "Molly, you can switch gears with me anytime." You got to be so dirty minded to take that in that way. The fact that y'all are actually basing that man's character off of him saying that is crazy. The reality is, a lot of people didn't like LeVar and his takes. So they got upset with him saying that. Another way of people just getting upset at the delivery of what is said or who said it is in the rap game, right? Think about Takashi 69. He has did things and said things that people just hate on him constantly for. Now, granted, I'm not the biggest Takashi 69 fan at all, but he makes disses that people say go way too far when they're cool with other rappers making those type of disses as well. And then also, every rapper talks about being a thug in some way, shape, or form when they don't have a sense of that in them. Heck, back in the day, allegedly Tupac wasn't even about that life, but they had him put on a character because it looked good. So when Takashi 69 did actually snitch, yeah, people were gonna talk about it because it was a popping thing at the time because he was arguably one of the more popular rappers at that time. But there's so many rappers in like the past 3 to 4 years who have been, yapping, admitting stuff, this, that, and the third. Y'all already know who those people are. Heck, Gucci Mane literally got kidnapped in Dallas. And Gucci Mane literally has songs where he talks about never working with the police no matter what. So you gotta make up your mind on what isn't good or what is good. I feel like y'all are just complaining at this point sometimes. But yeah, Takashi is a professional rage baiter because he's good at getting people mad. Now, granted, a lot of times he does do it on purpose. Dissing a deceased person is crazy, but like I said, a lot of other rappers do it. I feel like Takashi got more hate because of who he dissed. He dissed a more popular deceased rapper versus other people kind of dissing, popular rappers, boys who are deceased. And but y'all already know how that goes. But honestly, I feel like some of the biggest rage bait we all fall into is when we're debating like sports, rap, music, all that stuff, right? As a whole, it ain't really the athletes and the musicians who are causing the rage. It's usually the people debating it, the people putting their opinion into light. Like, let's be honest, a lot of people who think that Jordan is the GOAT are some of the bigger rage baiters. More so by accident, in a sense of they'll claim that ball was better in the 90s, and then the people who think LeBron are the GOAT be like, oh nah, ball was way better in the 2010s. And then they'll claim some dude who was an all-star in the 2010s wouldn't be good in the 90s. That's where the rage bait comes from on their side. And then some dude who thinks LeBron is the GOAT will say something along the lines of KD would average 50 in the 90s, which I think he would. And then the MJ fan just gets pissed, right? They're off. They're like, man, nah, that was the soft. That's a soft era, but the 90s, he would get banged up, and just shots go back and forth, man. Like, I think when I think of sports debates, I think Max Kellerman is a great rage better, whether he does it on accident or he does it on purpose. Bro, him and Stephen A would go at it, bro. Death being pointed at Earth. Who do I want taking the final shot? He said Kawhi Leonard was also more clutch than Kobe Bryant. Not to mention, he said he would rather have Magic Johnson shooting than Steph Curry in the final 12 minutes of the game. Another person who I think is also great at rage baiting, Skip Bayless. Skip Bayless has been hating on LeBron for dang near, it feels like centuries. He literally said he would rather take old or retired Michael Jordan to be a prime LeBron. That's where I was like, dudes are just yapping at this point. Like, I think when we get to that point of listening to a debate, that's where we got to kind of take a pause. Another person who you could say in the sports world is also pretty decent at rage baiting is Shannon Sharp. A piece of me feels like Shannon Sharp knows that he's pissing off Stephen A. Smith and maybe even Kendrick Perkins, and he's enjoying it slightly. But that's so many dudes in sports, like in every single form or fashion, whether it's playing, whether it's the retired dudes. Look at Ocho Cinco, like how he talks, especially to Deion Sanders. Look at Draymond Green in basketball. Look at Dylan Brooks. Look at Richard Sherman back when he was in the league. And Jalen Ramsey. Like, there's so many. But like in the music world or rap world, look at like DJ Academics. Sometimes I feel like DJ Academics will me ride and be super biased against other rappers. Now, granted, I feel like DJ Academics kind of already gets a good amount of hate, but I don't really pay too much attention to that guy. I feel like Drake even had his rage baiting moments. This dude literally built an ice sculpture over his release date for his album just to have niggas chipping at ice to get it gone. And keep in mind, they were chipping at the ice when it was ice. It was going to melt in like about 2 to 3 days, and they just had to know when his release date was. Like, I don't know if that's dedication or Neanderthal behavior. But one of the ways I've been rage baited a good amount of the time was through shows, whether it was Netflix or TV. Back when I watched Disney, there was a show called Austin and Ally, and there was this dude named Dez on here who was supposed to be portrayed as the dumb guy. And sometimes he did so many dumb things that it ended up messing up the episode. Or back when I watched SpongeBob, Patrick, like when he wouldn't let SpongeBob peek into his box, his secret box, I was like, yo, that's some whole ass stuff, because he had a picture of him in the box that was of him at a Christmas party, and apparently it was like an embarrassing one. Like, we can't be cool after that. And then when I'm watching like Netflix shows, prime example, Outer Banks, one dude who would tick me off a lot is JJ. He would do reckless stuff that would put them in more trouble. Growing on me a little bit, pause. But that used to piss me off, especially in the first season so much. Or an All-American, Coop would tick me off because Coop would put herself in dangerous situations and bring everyone else into her dangerous situation, including Spencer, and then would claim like, hey man, you got a future, you can't be in this, knowing that he's gonna try and help her no matter what. But yeah, anyways, I'm gonna wrap it up right here. Appreciate you for watching. Put down in the comments anybody else who rage baits who I missed out on. There's tons of people. Like, comment, subscribe, share, whatever you want to do to help out this video. I appreciate you. Like I said, deuce.